Yeah, yeah, yeah. Rap Diablo, yeah, yeah. It's the Rap Diablo, macho when I drop flows. The bar gets raised up, it's me and Petey Pablo. Colder than Gazpacho, colder than the mono. Rapping head honcho, rocking shows like I was Bono. I go, play a couple key.
Oh my gosh, hey everybody! It's been a while. Whoa, there we go. This is my new home now, guys. I haven't made a video in a while. It's been a long time. So basically, what's the update with me? I don't have any more reptiles anymore. I am living in my dad's trailer now. But it has a kitchen area. This is my little kitchen area. Let's see here. This is the fold-out bed that I live on. This is also a kitchen table that folds into a bed. I have all my cabinetry and everything, and I have a TV. I got some cool switches to play DVDs. I have a pooper, a little shower, and a light, and a light, skylight, and a sink. A couple little bunks, so when people come to visit me, I can sleep in the bunks. And I have a fridge. So that's pretty much what's been going on with me, you know? So yeah, I've been really going downhill. You know, I sold my soul to the devil for reptiles, and this is what he gave me. I had to sell my house. No, actually, I'm just kidding. I don't live in this trailer. I just thought this would be a cool intro to this video, because I haven't been posting any freaking videos since the little Cajun Encounters video when I went to New Orleans. I wanted to vlog that. Thought it would have been cool, but I didn't do it. But yeah, so we're actually at Steve Spear Sr.'s house, which is my father, from Bow and Arrow Reptiles, and he's going to take us on a little tour of not this trailer, but the actual inside of his house. He's got a bunch of crazy enclosures now. So let's freaking do this. Catch you there. Wee. Oh, hey. Whoa, I'm a little dizzy there. We're at Bow and Arrow Reptiles right now in my dad's basement. You may have seen a previous video that I did a while back in my dad's reptile room. It is way freaking cooler now. Talk about vivariums galore. I'm not going to hold you guys up any further. Let's get into this. Let's get Steve Spear on this camera and get a little tour of this joint. What do you say? What do you say, Bow and Arrow?
Hey everybody. Welcome to my basement. My name is Steve Wrangler, also known as Bow and Arrow from Bow and Arrow Outdoors, or Bow and Arrow Reptiles. Stephen wanted to come by and take a tour. All I can see is that big ass camera in my face. Stephen wanted to come by and take a tour of the same facility with some new digs in it. Thought you might enjoy it. So he asked me to take you on a tour of what's going on. So let's kick it off. This is our tank of death. The reason it's called tank of death is because I can't keep anything alive in it still. You remember a year ago I couldn't keep anything alive, but I do have platies and a dozen neons, and actually the neons are doing great and the platies are breeding, so hopefully it'll hold its own, but it's still there doing its thing. We have new additions, a new rack in here, a lot of new fun guys to play with. I'll get into the vivarium part in a little bit, but since we talked last, we're into gold dust day geckos, and I currently have 3 of them. I've got one male in here and a male and female. I think they're called a Phelsuma laudicata or something. I call them gold dust day geckos. Easier to pronounce. They're fun. They like bamboo. They don't really like people much, but hey, what the heck. Down here, we still have all the stuff that you saw before, just arranged differently. Since we talked last, I've gone bioactive on all my enclosures, so all 9 of these guys are bioactive. It's all male and female geckos from here down. New addition up here is one of Candace's ball pythons that she gave her sister Christine. It's about 7 years old, I think, and very docile. And Christine's able to wear it around her neck, and even the wife likes it, so that's pretty cool. But this is one of the enclosures that Stephen gave me when he cleared out his basement, but I'm sure he's going to show you that because it looks pretty awesome to me. This is also a Kenyan sand boa, which I see once a week on Fridays when I feed it. It lives underneath its aspen. It's probably about a foot to 14 inches long. Doesn't do much. We still have the female and the male Jackson's chameleon. You might have seen some of the smaller videos Stephen made before. She had 7 babies. All 7 lived. Stephen owns 2. Candace has 2. And the other 3 were farmed out to friends. All of them are doing well, I believe. But Will's just hanging out, and Holly's just sitting there. We think she may have more because she's pretty rotund right now, but that'll be another episode. The one thing I wanted to show you is I kind of got into a new passion, which is building vivarium backgrounds, and Stephen had a whole bunch of cork bark, and I asked him for a little bit of it, and I ended up doing a whole bunch of enclosures that I'll show you. But this is a 10-gallon conversion. I got the $10 tank for $5, or for $10 at the $1 a gallon sale at Petco. The conversion door came from I Heart Geckos. I think it was 29 bucks. Well worth it. It's all acrylic. It all comes in one unit. All you got to do is lay a silicone bead here, plop it in place, and let her dry. It's got 2 latches here. The door opens and closes. Inside here is a new addition. His or her name is Pongo because it's a Dalmatian. Probably about 3 to 4 grams. It's just a baby, which is why I've got it here all by itself. But definitely a great starter setup for somebody who wants to get into crested geckos. If you do it right, you can pretty much get the whole enclosure for 40 bucks if you price it out right. The background, if you want to come around here, Stephen, is all one of the great foam backgrounds where you foam it in and then you put your cork bark flats on it, and after it all dries, you carve it out, cover it with silicone in the gaps, and then fill it with sphagnum moss. I'm actually quite fond of that little enclosure. I thought that turned out pretty good for a basic project. Prior to doing this, I actually took my oldest 29 gallon, which I had when you last visited. I flipped it on its side, and I did my very first background with potted plants in it. And this houses Fonzie and Potsy. If you look right there, that's Fonzie. That's where he sleeps. Again, great arrangement for crested geckos. For the lights on the top, I use a $20 LED tank light that I bought from Walmart. The enclosure door came from I Heart Geckos. I believe the price on this was $39 for the door assembly. 3 latches, but it does great as far as keeping the humidity in there, as well as it's ventilated on the top and the bottom. This here is a 20-gallon long that I got from Stephen when he was cleaning out his house. This was a cool background that I did because it's the first time we incorporated some more cork tubes in here. I was kind of hoping that geckos might hang out in here, but it's great for bromeliads. Again, same lighting up at the top. Feeding ledges all came from Pangea. This is one of Stephen's babies. This is a Mercury Calypso baby. Not so much a baby anymore. It's I think it's pushing about 18 or 19 grams right now, but man, that thing loves crickets, and it lives underneath that leaf. That's its place. Any gecko keeper knows you can't keep your enclosures clean forever. This is Onyx, one of Candace's geckos that she had. Again, the I Heart Geckos enclosure cover. Absolutely love it. This is on a 29 that I bought from the dollar a gallon sale. So it was 29 bucks for the enclosure. What did I say? 40 for the door. Siliconed it on. This one turned out pretty cool because I put a bromeliad on the bottom, and up here at the very top somewhere I've got a pot here that I had pushed into the foam, and I also have one here that I'd pushed into the foam when I planted it. And I don't know, it just looks good because this cork tube, I don't know if they ever use it, but they can actually go in from the bottom and go all the way up through to the top. Again, it's another bioactive. I love the bioactives. They clean themselves. Just another quick tour of some of the older stuff. This is Reptar and Reptar's B. The plan is I want to go ahead and do that foam background, but only on the sides, because I really like to incorporate the Exoterra backgrounds because I like those. Maybe you can see it a little bit more. It's grown in a little since the last time you saw it. And again, a lot of hiding places for geckos. I currently cohab two in here, two females. They're both the same size. One's 34 grams, the other one's 36 grams. This is my... Did you ever film the day geckos before?
No, I don't think I did.
Okay, so we got into day geckos. This enclosure I found online on Facebook for dirt cheap. I put day geckos in here. It's currently empty because I've moved them. I'll show you that enclosure in a bit. But again, bioactive, a little waterfall in the back, acrylic top, LED light on the top. This heat light is not hooked up, it's just sitting there. I'm thinking about doing some tree frogs in there maybe. We thought they might be a cool looking enclosure. Right now I'm just letting it sit because the plants really like it there, and I'm going to go ahead and keep them there. Now the pièce de résistance, as they say in France, are these two new enclosures on the bottom. These are 18 by 36 by 36 Exoterras that Stephen has had ever since he started getting into green tree pythons out in California. I moved the day geckos from this enclosure down to here. This is our female. She's named Marge. And over there on the backdrop, that is Fred. When Stephen gave it to me, it was already bioactive, so I really didn't have to do anything except plant it. He had done the back and both sides, and this is kind of where I got the inspiration for the two sides that I want to put in the one up top. But it's got a, yep, stay right there. It's got the screen top, Arcadia T8 6% high output UVB bulbs. Now that there's a lot of air, you're going to see a lot of that. Hopefully it's mist and not smoke. That was a joke. Heat lamp in the back. They like to be at about 90 degrees for a basking area, with a gradient that goes down to like the high 70s down at the bottom. But all these are actually python perches that Stephen had built. There's one on the bottom as well. To make it a day gecko enclosure, all I had to do was plant this and a whole bunch of these guys. I actually took these off my back deck before the frost got them, separated the pot. We had got the whole thing at Walmart for like probably 10 bucks. I was able to save a couple of the plants that Stephen had. There's one here, there's one there. They should fill in nice. They seem to enjoy it. The leaf litter came out of the front yard. I've got a magnolia and pin oak in the front, so that's where I get that from. Again, bioactive. Wonder if there's any super beetles out. It's got super beetles in it. It's got isopod, springtails, Dubia roaches, actually, crickets, because they're an opportunistic feeder. They eat Pangea, crusted gecko diet, which is good, mealworms, and just about any insect that you want to give them. This particular one, when I got this from Steven, was empty. I brought it home. Yeah, it was empty when I brought it home.
Yeah, it was empty.
He had it set up for one of his green tree pythons. What I did here is incorporated the foam background that came with it, so that's an Exoterra background. But I wanted to do something with a bunch of cork pieces that I had, and these were all the oversized odd pieces that were left over from Steven's collection. So what I did is wanted to actually mimic a tree. So I took the biggest one here, foamed it in at an angle and built it out, and hopefully these look like a trunk going up, a branch here, and branches coming out here. One thing I really wanted to do was get the glass in between, so it's all glass here, all the way up and around both of those branches. I thought that would look pretty cool. This Porthos is not doing very well. I'll have to replant it, but I did end up putting a plant pot in the very top. So the goal is when it grows in, when I get another one, is it'll come down both sides and fill it in some. Again, this came off my back deck. I separated it. This lizard I got from Dollar Tree for $1, trying to play a joke on Steven, but it didn't work. This particular, some kind of palm, was on the back deck. Great plant. I just went ahead and trimmed it back before I put it in here. And this particular palm looks like it's growing, getting ready to shoot some more leaves up in here, so that's good. This has got UVB bulbs also. It does have the acrylic top. So before I can put day geckos in it, if I choose to go that route, I'd have to cut and screen the top for a portion of it that is with metal screen so it doesn't burn it with a heat light. Behind me, just closing out, is the old 60-gallon, which is fun. Angelfish and gouramis and a few cichlids. What are they called? I forgot.
Convicts?
Yeah, the convict cichlids. I used to have 7 of them, but we had a real bad freeze last year and lost power, and most of them died off. But those 3 are babies that I had raised, so that was cool. Another thing we got going on is we're into dubia roaches now, so I'll show you my dubia colony, because everybody loves dubias. This is a mini colony that I've started. I actually populated that vivarium over there.
There goes an escaped cricket. I guess he was living in the...
Watch this. This is awesome. Remember I told you that one guy loves crickets?
Yeah.
Check this out. Right down there. Cricket kind of jumped away. He didn't even see it. Alright, sorry. You know what? Let's try that with a dubia. Let me grab it. This is our dubia colony. And I've got babies and I have big ones. That looks about the right size. Alright, I'll drop that right in front of them. Ready? Alright, maybe he doesn't like dubias. Walk. Oh yeah, he's gonna eat that. I don't think I've ever fed him dubias. The cricket's walking up behind him now. Now he's got substrate in his mouth and he'll get impacted, and then I'll have to take him to the vet.
Actually, you won't have to do that.
I know I won't. I was leading up to the fact that that's probably the biggest falsehood that goes around Facebook, is everybody's worried about impaction with vivariums. Bigger problem with unhealthy animals, but these guys are all doing great. I'm not even worried about that. fact, there he is eating his dubia. He's good. All right. You want to look at dubias?
Yeah, let's look at dubias.
All right.
What do you got for dubias?
I have big dubias. I got medium dubias. I got male dubias. I got female dubias. Look at all the babies in there. And dubia poop.
Alright, so that was the reptile room tour with all the vivariums of bow and arrow reptiles. Oh, that's my dad in the back right there. Boop, 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 boop.
Bow and arrow aquariums.
Bow and arrow aquariums, baby. So, thanks for watching. As always, I'm sorry that I haven't been posting more videos, but I'm going to do that. So just be cool, stay in school, and just rock and roll till you can't rock and roll no more.
Make sure you like and subscribe.
Make sure you like and subscribe, as Bow and Arrow would say. Alright, bye.
I go play a couple keys on the piano. The industry